Yo, what up,
Let's
friends?
get this bad boy kicked off. Mel, first things first. Woo! We have, first of all, an amazing game tonight, but I can't say an amazing all around finals because I am a Celtics fan. I would be called a homer because I mean most people think that is not much of a series. But I know at least tonight is the series that most people are looking forward to. And with this conference finals, we have seen the departure of the old guard, so to say, right? The over 30 MVPs, your LeBron James, your Steph Curry, your Nikola Jokic, your Kevin Durant, people who are bounced from the playoffs, welcoming in this young guard, Ant-Man, SGA, who unfortunately also got booted, Luka, who is in tonight, right? The first Euro ever to lead the league in scoring. You got my boys, JT and JB from the Celtics. So can you give us your thoughts, I guess, on the playoffs thus far, but more on the old guard going out, the young guard coming in, what you see in these young cats, and then your conference finals predictions?
All right, so let me go with what you said last first, the conference finals predictions, right? I'm going to go with Boston over the Pacers, but I don't think it's going to be a rout like some people think. Actually, I was talking to Tony the Savant. He posted something on Facebook, and I came under the post, and because I think he said, "Did anybody actually believe the Pacers are going to get a chance to win the series?" And I told him, I said, I don't know if they're going to win the series, but I do know they're going to steal one of these games in Boston. I think that first game was their game to steal, but Boston stole it back. I don't know if this second game is going to be close. I think that was the game they were supposed to get. But I think it's still, once they get back to Indiana, they'll get at least one of those games, maybe both of them. So it's going to be closer than people think. It's not going to go 7, but it'll probably be a 6-game series, and I think it's going to be close. And so we'll see. But I'm taking Boston in that. And then with Dallas and Minnesota, believe it or not, I think Dallas will beat Minnesota, right? And the reason why I say that is beyond basketball. I'm a firm believer in sometimes NBA is definitely a business, and I think sometimes a business decision to turn into you giving a certain team or a certain player a little bit of a push, when it comes to officiating. I think Mavs are getting that push right now. And I think that might be a little bit too much for Minnesota to overcome. And I think somehow they pulled out. I don't know how, because Minnesota is definitely the better team, but I see Dallas getting that push for sure. All right. So as far as the overall playoffs, what I seen from it, I predicted Jokic was not going to get to the finals. I predicted that. I predicted they wasn't going to get that push this year like they got last year.
Do you think it was a hangover from just being the champions?
I don't think it got anything to do with them specifically. It was just they wasn't getting that same push. They had an extra push from the league last year that they're not getting this year. Then they lost some key bench players and Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. I think that was very crucial to what they was doing and continuously, having great players on the floor even when the starters went and sat down. And they really needed that, man, because Michael Porter Jr. kind of struggled a little bit as far as scoring and what he usually provides. And Jeff Green and Bruce Brown was giving them that off the bench, so that you probably wouldn't even noticed it if they were still there. So that was big as well. So I predicted that. I did predict Boston getting to the finals. They're one step closer to that. And I didn't foresee that Dallas was going to beat OKC. I didn't see that. But like I said, they getting that extra push though. But those are my thoughts though.
Yeah, and I actually agreed on when you said earlier, because I thought that the Celtics, coming off a little bit of a break there for 3 days, and the Pacers coming off a motivating win over the Knicks, I figured as well, like you, that the Pacers would actually win game 1. And so them not winning that really takes away, because I thought the Pacers would at least take them to 6, but now I can't see more than a gentleman's sweep there. So which is why I'm much more excited about the other series. I originally had predicted the Mavericks in 7 because of their experience, but I ended up flipping last night and going Timberwolves in 7 just because of their stellar defense. It's just so suffocating. But that being said, who do you think
but look, Omar, that's if they let them play that suffocating defense, though. Like the NBA and the officiating has to be complicit with that. They have to say, okay, that's okay for you to play your brand of defense, because the moment they say no, we calling it, then they're beatable. And that's what happened when Denver beat them 3 games in a row. It was in the first 2 games, it was like, all right, play your physical brand of defense. We're going to allow it. And Jokic looked like he wasn't even a top player in the league. You know what I mean? And then as soon as they say, all right, hands off the merchandise, you can't do that anymore, Denver runs off 3 straight games. You know, so it's going to be all about if they allowed it.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I mean, like you said, I am not going to be the first one to talk about NBA conspiracies, and won't be the last one to actually believe that some of them are actually true. But when you see it, the favorites go down 0-2 at home, and all of a sudden they start to come back, you can start to think maybe some fouls were called this way or some bounces happen because it's. But we are not proving nothing here. All allegations on any conspiracies. That being said, all right. So you have Boston and you have the Mavericks. You said getting it done somehow, some way, right?
Yeah.
And somehow. In your, sorry about that. So who is your finals winner? Who's going to win the finals in games?
But it's Boston this year. Okay, for sure.
Okay, so you are not of the thought that, and I hear this a lot on the streams. You're not of the thought that Boston has not played anyone in the playoffs and hasn't been ramped up enough that if they go to war with Mavericks or the Wolves, that they can't be upset.
I'm with the first part. They haven't played anybody. Right? They haven't played anybody like these West Coast teams have been playing somebody. So that part is true. Now, is that going to be an issue for them? Probably in game 1. They come out there playing around, just like what just happened with the Indiana Pacers in game 1. They came out there and was like, man, we should be able to beat this team, and they gave them a run for their money, and they had to pull out a prayer. But once they get rid of that initial shell shock, I think they can lock in. I think the Boston beating themselves and Boston having their inexperience show up in the playoffs and in crucial games. I think they got all that out of their system when Golden State exploited their inexperiences and their mental toughness in that final series, right? Because they beat Golden State game 1, and that was a shocker. And I think they was up 2-1. Right, so yes, that series was theirs to lose, and then Draymond comes out and starts playing hockey, and they just wasn't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? You could see it. That was like, what the heck is he on, man? Like y'all letting him do that, and the refs was like, hey, yeah, we letting him do it, and that changed the whole series. And I don't think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is going to be shocked by that again. You know, whatever you throw at them, I think they got the people in the locker room to combat it. So I think this is their year.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is not being a homer. I try to be as realistic as possible. But the Celtics have had the number 1 offense, which was record-setting offense, the best offense since the '96 Bulls. 5 points above the Pacers, which was the next best offense. Their defense is number 2 in the league or number 3 in the league. So one of my, and it's not just me, a lot of NBA experts also cite this, but one of the things I like to look at most is, are you in the top 5 or at least the top 10 in both offensive and defensive net rating? You're a championship contender then. And that's what the Celtics are. So while I love the Wolves and I think they have theirs coming, while I think the Mavericks could probably even pull one with the Kyrie Luka duo at some point possibly, I do think it is the Celtics year. I think they should have been their year last year or even the year before. So now they really need to finish it off. And I know a lot of people say they should be embarrassed if they don't. I wouldn't go that far because their team is not automatically going to get split up, so they could still have more chances. But the thing is that they are probably going to win against either team that they play.